Scott Coker came out. He was talking about why he changed his mind on signing Yoel Romero. So just to remind you guys of this story, Yoel becomes a free agent recently, 3 weeks ago. Goes into a bit of the sweepstakes. Coker was one of the first guys asked about Yoel, and Coker said not interested. Great guy, respect him, real talent. That's not what we're doing right now. And then came around like 2 or 3 days later and did a different interview and said, well, you know what? Might revisit this. Maybe Yoel goes and grabs a win or something. Maybe I do have a spot for him over here. And then again makes a rotation, goes, boom, signed him. So people came back and asked him why. Hey, what happened? Why did you change your mind? And Coker just told him exactly what happened. Because you know what? Had a relationship with Yoel Romero from the Strikeforce days back in 2008. Always known what a talent he was, but just wasn't looking to sign a fighter at that age in his career. Looking for guys with shelf life. My phone lit up so much. Our social media of Bellator went so crazy specifically for a match between Yoel and Rumble. And Scott had just signed Rumble Johnson. So he comes out and he makes that statement. I bring that to you because I'm one of the people. I want to see Rumble versus Yoel. And I even tried to do it personally in a grappling match. I'll tell you, Yoel didn't want anything to do with it. But the fact that Coker said that he signed Yoel because people were so interested in seeing Yoel versus Rumble is one step short of announcing that we're going to get to see Yoel versus Rumble. Coker did not go that far, but boy, he sure gave us a lot of clues. He gave us a lot of pieces to the puzzle. Interesting for a few reasons. If you're going to bring Yoel over to Bellator, fine. But you do have the very first question of what weight class. So now it appears the 205-pound weight class, which would bring you closer to starting to make some of these fantasy pairings and matchups, including the one against Rumble, which it looks like Coker might just do right out of the gate. Now, I came across a piece of information. I don't know how accurate this is, but I came across a piece of information that Bellator is looking to do a Grand Prix for light heavyweight. Now, I would believe that because Bellator has been doing Grand Prix for every other weight class. Why wouldn't they do that one? But that could be an opening round match just by example. If they do go the Grand Prix route and they are going to put Yoel and Rumble within that Grand Prix, I suggest you do it right out of the gate. If that's the match we're hoping to get to, we only have one round to manipulate. It's the first round. Manipulate it. Nobody's ever pretended this is a blind draw. There's nothing underhanded about this. There's one round to manipulate. Every fight in fighting has a manipulation because we don't have a competitive architecture. It's why Coker's Grand Prix do so damn well. It's why all the athletes beg, put me in there. It's the one and only chance they're going to have within this space to let their skills speak for their achievements. Everything else will be done through PR, the game being played at the power of the pen. Everything. That's okay. That's okay. But it's also what's unique about the Grand Prix, aside from the first round. Now, nobody's going to complain about their pairing in the first round. Nobody's going to argue seeds because you still have the same opportunity and you only have one goal, which is to win the whole thing. So you don't have any ability to complain about your first round draw. If you can't beat the guy in the first round, what's the point in putting it off to the finals? You're not going to either win it or you don't. It's pass or fail. There's no silver medal. They don't play this thing all the way to third. They play it for one reason, which is to first. I think it was the right move. I think that the mindset of MMA promotions needs to change right now. This is a very strange time we're in at all walks of life. Why would MMA be any different? Everything else in life has been disrupted. Why would we not disrupt the way we're thinking in MMA? And one of the ways you think in MMA is always chess, always long-term, 2 and 3 and 4 steps ahead. To get a return on your investment, what am I going to do? I don't think we need to do that right now. Mike Tyson did some very wonderful business the other night. He's getting ready to do very wonderful business again, but they're one-offs. One-off, one night, rebuild, start over. It's the boxing model, not the MMA model, but I think there's room for both at the right time. I think this is the time. Grab Yoel on a one-off. Put him in whatever you plan to do with him, but if you like the way that goes, bring in Anderson Silva. Do another one-off. Maybe there is no long-term play. Been plenty of great fights, particularly done by Scott Coker, that are one-offs. I can remember Shamrock versus Kimbo Slice or Shamrock versus Hoist Gracie. I don't want to hear your reflections on the fight. I'm talking about the anticipation and the excitement And the only way that we were going to get that is for a very specific you versus you. Whatever happens after this, I don't know. That's tomorrow's problem. Today's issue is you versus you sign the contract. And I just think there's some opportunity for guys like that right now. Anthony Pettis tied up with the PFL. I would have loved to have seen Anthony Pettis, personally, sign with ONE FC, one off, Eddie Alvarez, Anthony Pettis. Any of you not like that idea? And it's one of these rare times where that can be done. Kayla Harrison, in many ways, is doing that right now. I understand Kayla Harrison is not a star. That's the only difference in her and the people I'm talking about, but she is doing one-offs with promotions right now. She had something lined up with the LFA. She already did an Invicta fight. She's not even going back. I mean, there's no plan to even have her back. It was a disruption. It was one night, but she did it. I think that there's room within this space to do that. It's a rarity. It's not the people you're building that are going to go on and be champions and drive you. I understand. The model's a little bit different. But that's okay. We can do things different. We don't have to get locked in the same mindset and never redo it and never restep. This was a good signing by Coker. Particularly if we're going to just get Rumble and Yoel together. Get rid of all this. Get Rumble and Yoel signed.